In this video we show you how to read with NODEJS and MONGODB. We're going to read one document and several documents. So in the previous video I already showed you how we create it. So if you have not seen that video, please go to the description about the current video and find the create video for it. So what I will do now is I will create a new file. I will just call it read.js. And not to waste time, take the code from the create.js, copy all of it. Where's the copy? And paste it inside the read.js. So that's the easiest way to do this because many things are just repeated. If you happen to watch this video directly, I walk you through it pretty quickly. We connect to the server, to the Mongo server. We're going to connect using this URL. Actually, this is not a connection, this is just using the files that we downloaded via the npm install. This is the URL. This is going to be the database pointer. This code is necessary if the server has a critical error. Always have it on your system. Then we're going to connect to the server, to the URL that I just showed you up there. This is the middleware that must be in place for, actually this is invented so in case that you need to reconnect, it knows how to handle the reconnection timeout and stuff like that automatically. The error, if something goes wrong, and the response is what the pointer to the database contains. If there's an error, we will return. We're going to connect to this database that we call the company's database. You can call this whatever you want. This is the database we're using at the moment. This is the user that we inserted before. We no longer need that, and we don't need to insert the user. Just for you to see it, we were inserting one user. We don't need this because we're going to read users now. All right, and this is if you have problems with NodeMon. When you run the command, watch the previous video and you can just set the execution policy to be remote sign to avoid issues with it. In the previous video, I could not run NodeMon from the terminal because I tried to trigger as many errors as possible, and that's because I needed to restart VS Code. But since you probably have shut down VS Code and open it again, now you can do NodeMon, for example, -- version, and you should see version 2.02. So for this video, we'll be using the terminal just there, so we can see what we get out of it. To read from Mongo, it's quite simple. You can just use the DB. We're going to talk to the collection we call users. That's the collection that we invented, and we're going to find one user. As soon as it finds one, you will get into the callback because it takes time to find the user. So when the system is done finding it, you are going to execute the callback with an error, and actually you're going to get the response. In this case, the response will be the data, and this is an arrow function. For now, we just check if there's an error. Always check if there's an error. So I will just copy and paste. If there's an error, I will say database error cannot read, and then we will return. If everything is going as expected, we will just console.log the response. In this case, we should see a user. I save. Nothing really was triggered down here because I'm not running NodeMon. So I will run NodeMon, and then I will just do read.js in purpose, just like that. And then you can see that you got the user out, and that was the first user that we inserted. Now in some computers you may have the issue, so if you need to run NodeMon and you have something about administrative rights, you can run it also like this // and then read.js, and maybe that solves the issue. All right, so that's reading just one user. So what if you have multiple users that you want to select? So I will just copy this find one command and I will duplicate it. Now this will be commented out. I save. It's just to make sure that's running as expected, and it is. But now we need to make a change to this command. We're going to find many. If you read the docs in MongoDB, there's a function called find, and you might think that you can just do this, delete the one and just find and run it. But this gives you not an error, but the object is pointing to a different location, and therefore you have a lot of keys that you can actually use. So to solve this, what you do is carefully do this with me, just do some spaces there. Find is a function. You can just do find like this, or you can put a JSON object that is empty internally. These are the exact same thing, this and that. They will find all the users in your system, and then you have to do a dot and then to array. So this will convert the response into an array. Let's save it. Let's see what we get out of it. And now you can see that it's hard to just focus on the array, but this is the array that I'm getting out. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 users in the system. So I will do this again, save, save, and then you can see it restarted, and then the array with the users popped up. Obviously, the find function can take several arguments. You can find only elements with a specific name, with a specific last name, and so on, but that is coming in the future videos. For now, we're just doing the basic CRUD. To summarize again, you have this process to avoid any big errors in the system. If you want to find one, in the response you will get the object, just that object, the first one. If you want to find several, you need to convert the response into an array. Please don't forget to subscribe and get notifications for future updates on this topic. Thank you.